Essence Festival took a hit this year, and I mean a major hit. And so, for those who don't know the background, Essence Festival was this festival that was to come together to celebrate Black Americans, and it was usually like something where a girls' trip. As a matter of fact, the movie Girls Trip was actually about Essence Festival, and that's how popular Essence Festival is and was. However, it appears times are changing, and folks express mad dissatisfaction from this year's Essence Festival. Now, it could be because Target was there as one of the vendors, and as you know, many folks are still boycotting Target. So why the hell was you at Essence Festival? Or it could be the fact that local vendors were not really invited this year because it seemed to be more corporate. Or it could have been the fact that it was apparently a West African vibe versus a Black American vibe. I'm not quite sure, but the question on the floor today is Essence Festival still the essence of Black culture?
My wife just got back from Essence Festival. She had a great time. So her and I talked about it. I wanted to get her perspective. She said she didn't really see like an overt amount of, I guess, African representation. She said you could see it around, but it didn't stop the vibes. She said everybody had a great time. It was, no foolishness. Everybody was, having just really good Black excellence, Black fun. Of course, Erykah Badu did not start on time, if that's what you were looking forward to. But she said it was great, and attendance could be down for a lot of different reasons, as you pointed out. But she said it was still a great experience, and it may just be an internet talking point. So that was my firsthand account from somebody who was there.
Hold on. Internet talking point, right? Okay, so I guess people saw the video where Lauryn Hill was performing to a crowd of 300 people in almost an empty place. She went on like about 2 hours after she was supposed to. Stephanie Mills came out with a letter also just, I guess, not happy with the execution of the events. People come for the stars. These are older folks too. What the fuck am I doing up at 3:00 in the morning? So we just, listen, I'm sure your wife had a great time, because honestly, people who are good natured and good spirited, they're going to have a good time regardless of where they go, right? Especially if they're not really aware of everything going on. Now, I don't know if she's been multiple years to where she can say the attendance was down, but it sounds like you intimated that because there could be a lot of reasons why they were down. But the conversation, I think, goes deeper than, festivals are down overall, right? Because it wasn't about Africans being there. It's not like you're going to, there goes some Nigerians right there. Like sometimes you could tell, I guess, right? But it's not like are the Africans there? Now that may be where the problem lies, I think, from an attendance standpoint, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But there's a lot of layers in terms of, S&M mentioned the Target thing. Honestly, I don't think Target had much to do with it. Niggas still going to Target. I mean, I get that maybe they're saying there's a drop in numbers, I guess, and there people are claiming that. But honestly, I just don't know too many people who are necessarily boycotting Target. And then on top of that, where else are y'all going? Because I think the niggas who go to Target are not going to go to Walmart. But I guess, hey, you guys will sacrifice and take one for the team. I hear you. Sell me that. I'll buy it, maybe, right? So I don't think the Target thing was a big issue. I do think the local people part was a problem, because you always want to get local support just because it can kind of provide a foundation of attendance and people who are invested in your event, right? You got vendors and people who are coming out to the event. They may have people who got tickets or whatever, however way you do it, but you kind of have that local support. And I think you then bring out more of a local audience. I think they missed on that. I think they missed digitally in terms of whether or not they invested in getting streamers or any podcasters or having like a presence. Honestly, that shit came up really quickly. It came and went without most people not talking about it. In fact, what people are talking about now is the most I think we've heard about Essence Festivals this entire fucking year. And that says a lot, right? And I didn't even get to the woman who is running it right now. And I'm sorry if her name escapes me, but the other point that S&M was speaking to, and you mentioned the whole Africans thing, from what I understood, right, the idea was maybe for it to be more global, celebrating Black excellence, right, in a global kind of way. And I do think that is a good idea, right, because I do think there needs to be more unity, et cetera, et cetera. But I honestly do wonder if when you focus from the organizational level and the channels that you choose to use to promote this event, right, is going to be different. So whereas you might have gone traditionally with Black outlets or, traditional mediums or whatever that you would have used in the past, but if you're trying to reach a global audience, maybe now you're reaching out to other people that maybe we as people in America have not heard of. Now, where it goes back to what I was saying before about the attendance is that if you made that investment to get those people to come out and those people do not come out and support, then you unfortunately fail because you kind of use your funds to kind of broaden your audience and you thought you have the core audience there. And apparently they're like, nah, you really don't. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, you're not really running a great operation here because events are not starting on time. People come to see these people and to wait 2 hours to see them is not a great experience, right? So I think it was a culmination of a lot of these things. It's just fascinating to me, though, the idea of the ADOS and the FB, that whole conversation, because I just don't know. I feel like this would be the first time we were seeing the tension maybe show itself in a tangible way, if that's what happened. Right? If all the conversations that we heard on the internet or in whatever, if this was, here's a person who maybe was not rooted in the African American culture and decided to prematurely try to expand, and there could have been good intention there, but unfortunately it's just bad outcome. And now we're looking at that outcome and we have questions. And so I just think there's a lot of work to be done internally to figure out the direction of Essence Festival moving forward, Essence Fest, because to your point, Delvin, there are a lot of changing macroeconomic things happening in the space. So people may not have as much disposable income and they may have more options, right? And who knows, maybe there would be like an AI festival they could attend and not have to spend anything anyway, right? So it's like, come on, humans, get your shit together. You dig what I'm saying? But I'm hoping that that's just more internet fodder. I hope that we as Black people recognize, especially here in America, that it's more important for us to unite with others than divide from others. I do get that there are real issues that need to be talked about, but I just feel like sometimes maybe the minor things get in the way of us doing major things. And I get the vision if she wants to take it there, but you also got to continue to invest in the people who got you there. You can't decide to just pivot over here and forget the people who got you there, right? So I think that's where, from the local level, right? If you're trying to go international, you damn sure got to start with taking care of local, right? And so I think that's where maybe at the end of the day, where some of this kind of failed in terms of the leadership and how they chose to approach whatever eke they had to kind of broaden the scope of excellence and Black excellence internationally.